Relationships are very delicate things. If you really stop and think about it, relationships are the backbone to just about everything in your life. If you have a bad relationship at home with your girl or your wife, that negativity could spill over into other things in your life. If you have a bad relationship with your boss at work, then going to work every day is just going to be miserable. On the other hand, if both relationships are good, then you're more likely to be happy with your life. When talking about personal relationships, most people tend to agree that there's one thing that you can't come back from: cheating. If your wife or your girl cheats on you with some other dude, in most cases, there's just no coming back from that. The trust is broken. You'll never look at her the same ever again. The act of cheating doesn't only pertain to personal relationships. It can happen in a business relationship too. Just like in personal relationships, once a party in a business relationship cheats on the other party, in most cases, there's no coming back from it. That is exactly what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz. By benching Carson Wentz for Jalen Hurts back in November or early December, whenever it was, Doug Peterson and the Eagles were essentially cheating on Carson Wentz. Now, you could argue that the cheating really started back in May during the NFL draft, when the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. You don't select a quarterback in the early rounds of the draft without the intention of him being your starter eventually. And this wasn't like the Packers drafting Jordan Love either. It's two completely different scenarios, two different situations. Aaron Rodgers is in his late 30s. He's on the back nine of his career. Green Bay drafting Jordan Love is expected. They're preparing for life after Aaron Rodgers. Carson Wentz is 28 years old, 27 years old at the time that the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. He's got another 10 years minimum in the NFL if he stays healthy. You just gave him a massive contract extension, committed $100+ million to him, which signaled to Carson Wentz that you were in a relationship with him for the long haul. This was a long-term relationship. Then the Eagles turn around and sweep the rug right out from under him and go pick up a mistress, essentially. The Eagles drafting Jalen Hurts had a devastating impact on the confidence of Carson Wentz. You undermined his leadership in the locker room. All season, he is constantly looking over his shoulder, waiting on the inevitable to happen. Of course, the inevitable did happen. But now all of a sudden, with Jalen Hurts going 1-3 as a starter and looking far from what I would call impressive in doing so, reports are starting to surface that the Eagles are looking to try and mend their relationship with Carson Wentz. It's funny sometimes how this happens. Usually, the grass is not greener on the other side. The problem is, the damage has already been done. Once one party in the relationship gets to the point where they're just over things, they're over it, the relationship is over. There's no coming back from it. I believe Carson Wentz is at that point with the Philadelphia Eagles. They fired Doug Peterson, thinking that that might be enough to convince Carson Wentz to stay. A gesture of good faith, if you will, from the franchise to their quarterback. Hey, we're going to pick Doug Peterson over you. But it's too little too late. That's like the husband telling his wife that he is choosing her over his mistress. Now, in what world is that going to make her feel better? Doug Peterson was not the only problem in Philadelphia, at least when it comes to Carson Wentz. Remember what happened after the Eagles beat the Saints? Multiple players in that locker room came out publicly saying how different the offense was with Jalen Hurts, how there wasn't as much tension in the huddle or on the field. They were playing looser. You think Carson Wentz doesn't remember that? He already wasn't the most popular guy in that locker room in Philadelphia. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if you're a safety. But when you're the quarterback, the leader of the team, you need the locker room to be behind you. I don't remember one player coming to the defense of Carson Wentz after he was benched. I don't remember one player coming to his defense all season. I told you guys at the time, after the Eagles beat the Saints, don't fall in love with Jalen Hurts. This is just one game, and this is typical in the NFL, especially with mobile quarterbacks. Defenses don't have film on them, don't know how to defend against them, and they look great in their first game. Unbeatable almost. The problem with Jalen Hurts, and it's a problem with a lot of these running quarterbacks, especially when they're young, Jalen Hurts struggles with accuracy. So now Philadelphia finds themselves in a bind at the quarterback position. You have two quarterbacks, both who were benched. One who likely wants out, or who does want out, and could have an untradeable contract because he's coming off the worst year of his career. And then you have another, Jalen Hurts, who the Eagles haven't even been in contact with since his exit interview a few weeks ago. This is very strange, very strange. I mean, if they thought he was their quarterback of the future, you would think that they would be in contact with him, especially with the way the season ended with Doug Peterson benching him to tank that game against Washington. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure the Eagles even want Carson Wentz back. What is the one thing Carson Wentz needs more than anything else? Development. He needs a head coach who can teach him how to lead, teach him how to win, someone who can expand his offensive game, someone like a Kyle Shanahan or a Frank Reich, who Carson Wentz flourished under when he was the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia a couple of years ago before he became the head coach in Indianapolis. If the Eagles were truly interested in hanging on to Carson Wentz, you would think that they would go out and find a head coach that could work on developing him. In my opinion, that's not what they did. I know the reports coming out saying that the Eagles are interested in mending their relationship with Carson Wentz, but with this head coaching hire, I'm not sure they want to. They went out and hired Nick Sirianni, who, and I hope I'm saying his name right, but I don't think he is going to have any impact on the development of Carson Wentz. He doesn't have a track record of developing quarterbacks or developing complex offensive schemes. Let me tell you another reason Philadelphia might not have any interest in keeping Carson Wentz on this team. The last thing you want with a new head coach is a quarterback controversy. His first few months on the job, you don't want him figuring out who in the hell the quarterback is going to be. Who do I give first team reps in practice? Does my locker room prefer Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts? These questions, this is the last thing you want an inexperienced young head coach to deal with. And I honestly think it's the reason that the Eagles had a difficult time finding top coaching candidates for this job. Doug Peterson really put the Eagles in a bind with some of the decisions that he made. I mean, it's not on the same level as Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans. But Doug Peterson really screwed this thing up. I think he let his ego get the better of him. He tried to outthink the league with the whole benching Carson Wentz for Jalen Hurts. And it really wasn't fair to either quarterback. Jalen Hurts was not ready to be a starter in the NFL. And by doing it, by benching Carson Wentz, it completely ruined the relationship. And then Doug Peterson ruined it with Jalen Hurts by benching him for Nate Sudfeld, trying to hang on to the number 6 draft pick. It is going to be hard for the Eagles to trade Carson Wentz with the contract that he currently has. If he wants out of Philadelphia, he has no other choice but to restructure his contract. For one, the way the contract's currently structured, it's too expensive for the Eagles to trade him. And two, because Carson Wentz is coming off the worst season of his career, he needs to entice another team to take a chance on him. My thoughts haven't changed as to where Carson Wentz should be playing next season. I think he should do everything possible to get to Indianapolis. He's already comfortable with Frank Reich and his system. Like I said earlier, he had the best year of his career and was an MVP candidate when Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator with the Eagles. The Colts are already a playoff team. I mean, Phillip Rivers just retired. They need a quarterback. I think part of the reason that Phillip Rivers retired is because he knew the Colts were going to go after Carson Wentz this offseason, and he didn't want to play elsewhere. Now, if for some reason Indianapolis doesn't work out, whatever he does, Carson Wentz needs to get himself into a good situation next season. The next stop could be it. You don't get many chances as a franchise quarterback in the NFL. If Carson Wentz lands in a bad situation, has a bad year in 2021, and maybe in 2022, then you're talking about the end of his career. At least the end of his career as a starter in this league. I mean, just look at Cam Newton as an example of how quickly things can fall apart in the NFL. Now, as far as the Eagles are concerned, who in the hell knows who's going to be their starting quarterback next season? At this point, Jalen Hurts is the only option. I'm not sure what the quarterback class looks like in this year's upcoming draft. You guys probably know a lot more about that than I do. I don't keep up with draft prospects. But 2021 is looking to be a rebuilding year in Philadelphia. New coach. They're transitioning to a different era. Franchise quarterback on his way out. We'll see what Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles decide to do, especially at the quarterback position. We're going to keep an eye on it right here on the channel. That's all for today. Hit that like and subscribe button. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Will the Eagles be able to repair their relationship with Carson Wentz? Or is it too little too late? If so, who will be the quarterback in Philadelphia next season? Jalen Hurts? Or will they go after someone in the draft or free agency? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Best way to contact me is by email at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.